Welcome back, everyone, to Weather for Weather Geeks. It's my daily deep dive into the weather in the short term and the longer range for the Mahoning and Shenango Valleys. Although, a lot of times we talk about the entire country, and sometimes we even look globally if there's something interesting going on. Not only do we look ahead in this video, but sometimes we look back at the past as well. And what I've been doing this week is reminiscing a little bit about the blizzard of 1978. The 40th anniversary of that historic storm is coming up this Friday, the 26th. I mentioned this yesterday on TV and in this video as well. Some people are a little bit surprised at how modest the snowfall amounts were locally with the blizzard of 78. The amounts were much higher in western Ohio and up into Indiana, but there was a lot of snow on the ground, and combined with a fresh handful of inches, snow drifts were a big problem. The tumbling temperatures, the ferocious winds were really a big problem here locally, even though the actual snow totals from the storm itself were not super impressive. And, January of 1978, even outside of the blizzard, was a really harsh month. It was the second snowiest January on record, with 3 feet worth of snow in Youngstown that January 1978. This list is pretty remarkable when you look at it. 10 out of the 14 years on this list are from 1999 forward. There's only a few Januaries on this list that are prior to 1999. And, this kind of goes along with the idea that it's been much snowier lately than some of those really harsh winters that a lot of people remember back in the 1970s. Since the turn of the century, locally and in Akron and Pittsburgh, I kind of averaged 3 locations together here just in case there was an anomaly in one of the spots. But when you take an average of these 3 nearby locations, the story is the same, with much snowier seen over the last 17, 18 years. Now, there's been some debate on my Facebook page this afternoon about climate change, global warming. When people see stats like this where it's been snowier lately or been colder lately, they sort of it's easy for a lot of people to go, oh, global warming, whatever happened to global warming, and that sort of thing. There's actually been a lot of research done lately, and there's a lot of mounting evidence to suggest that a warming world, a changing climate, actually increases the snowfall rates across the mid-latitudes where we are. The Arctic regions are warming at a much more rapid pace than the rest of the globe, and that has consequences to the weather pattern. And one of those consequences can be more snow during the winter season. More snow during the winter does not disprove global warming or climate change by any stretch of the imagination. And keep in mind, when we talk about climate change, or sometimes it's referred to as global warming, the key word there is global. One spot having a colder period or a snowier period is only one spot on the entire globe. So, my stance on climate change is that the climate is changing, the Earth is warming. This is a fact. Now, what's up for some degree of debate is, what role do humans have in that? Is it a little bit of a role? Is it a big role? Is it kind of half and half between humans and natural variability? And I think there's still some debate to be had on that. But it is a fact that the globe is warming, especially in the Arctic regions. All right, so getting off my climate change soapbox here, let's talk about our weather this January. We didn't make that list that I just showed you. Right now we're at 19.4 inches, and that's still above average. It's not going to be a record-breaking month, or even we won't even get into that list of top 14 that I just showed you, but it's been a pretty snowy January, including today. Today's forecast was a bust. And if you're a newer follower of mine, or I should tell you that people who've been following me for a while can testify to this. When my forecast busts, I'm going to tell you about it. I don't hide from busts. I don't shy away from them. We called for a 20% chance of a passing flurry today, and it just kept snowing in a lot of places, especially in Trumbull County, where at the airport in Vienna they picked up 1.2 inches worth of snow. So here's a look at the approximate snow depth, and I think you could even kind of draw an area like this that's closer to 1 inch, extending from Newton Falls over through Champion, Warren, maybe over towards Cortland area and into Vienna as well. Once you got south of I-80, it's pretty much less than an inch in most spots. Although they're, down towards East Liverpool, I wouldn't be surprised if some places did indeed see upwards of an inch worth of snow today. It was just one of those days where it just wanted to snow. There's a little saturated layer up at about 4,500 to 5,000 feet. It wasn't a thick layer, but it was thick enough to keep the snow going. and this is a 12-hour radar loop showing that. We just had these waves of generally light snow, but a little bit here and there, and it added up to a half an inch to an inch or so in some spots during the course of the day. Today, was the radar when I recorded Weather Geeks at a little after 7 o'clock, 7:15 to be precise. Not much more than flurries out there at this hour. There can be some flurries over the next few hours. Then the sky will clear late tonight, giving way to a nicer day tomorrow. I think the sun's going to break out as high pressure slides to our south. It's not going to be a super warm day by any stretch. We'll get above freezing by a couple of degrees. But that's a lot better than today when we were stuck in the mid-20s with a brisk wind and a lot of clouds and, of course, a little bit of snow. But Friday's the real winner of the week. We're talking 50 Friday afternoon with nothing but sunshine. That is a beautiful January day. As we look ahead to the weekend, the momentum, unfortunately, is going to stop. A cold front is coming our way, and I think it starts to rain in a lot of places by about lunchtime. Not really buying what the model's doing here, trying to spit out a little bit of wet snow at the onset. I don't think that's right. I think this is just rain with our front. Most likely starting around lunchtime Saturday and taking us into Saturday night. We'll shake the raindrops, it looks like, by pretty early in the day on Sunday. The front looks a little faster on the modeling today. Now behind that front, yes, it's going to turn cold again for early next week. Nothing real unusual for this time of the year, but a noticeable cool down for Monday and Tuesday before another warm-up by Wednesday. Now this next warm-up starting on Wednesday may be kind of the last hurrah as far as warmth for a while. This is the 8 to 14 day outlook showing the beginnings of the pattern change really very late next week into the following weekend, right around Groundhog Day and towards Super Bowl Sunday, with the cold air spilling east of the Rockies. And I think it's going to start to overwhelm the pattern as we go into February. And as I mentioned on this video last night, I'm expecting February to be another colder than average month. We should make it 3 for 3 in the meteorological winter months of December, January, and February. 3 colder than average months out of 3. That's the way it looks right now. I'll have an official February outlook a little bit closer to the first of the month next week. In the meantime, thanks for watching tonight's weather for Weather Geeks. I'll see you back here tomorrow, and have a great Wednesday night.